Welcome back to our third presentation for Franchise Times Prime Time. We are very happy to have you, our audience, with us for one final of the day. We are very excited to have with us Michael Browning, CEO of Urban Air Adventure Parks, and joining him is Josh Wall, Executive VP and Chief Franchise Officer. Thank you both so much for being here. I will let you take it from here.
T-minus 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Houston, Buffalo, Denver. We have liftoff. We are now Urban Airborne. Urban Air is where fun takes flight, where kids can make friends, make their mark, make their way. And you can make a day of it. At Urban Air, there's a surprise inside every box. So let them try something new. Something bold, something challenging. Another point of view. Let them soar, score, chase, race, climb. Let them have an awesome time. Let them go for a spin, go for a slice, go solo, go team, go big. But most of all, let them go for it. Urban Air. Let them fly.
Hey, good morning, everyone. I wanted to first thank Franchise Times and Mary Jo for having us on today. I'm Michael Browning, founder and CEO of Urban Air Adventure Parks, and just wanted to thank you as well for taking some time out of your day to spend some time with me and my colleague Josh Wall. The first thing for me is I'm a big believer in why do we get out of bed every day. Obviously, we all want very successful and profitable businesses, but at Urban Air, our mission is to help kids celebrate special moments in their life, escape the hardships of the real world, and connect socially offline. And boy, I keep telling the team, our mission and our calling now more than ever coming out of COVID is so important, because as human beings, our DNA is built around socialization. It's built around relationships, and we've missed out on that. And so I am so excited for the future and the impact that Urban Air is going to have on the communities at which we serve. Urban Air, I started the company back in 2011. Right now we have 207 franchised units. We have 154 units open, 53 under development. Pre-COVID, we were on a roll, and we'll continue to be on a roll. We were opening almost one new unit per week. We've got great system-wide revenue, great unit economics. What I'm really proud of is what the team was able to achieve despite COVID. We've had no permanent closures. Our revenue in 2019 was $216 million, and we'll talk here shortly about how 2020 system-wide revenue, we were able to achieve 70% of what we did in 2019. We sold over 384,000 memberships life to date. And I'm proud of what the team has accomplished. I'm proud that the market has recognized us as a leader, both in franchising, ranking at 55th overall and number one in our category. And it's a testament to the senior leadership team, the home office team, and most importantly, our franchisees carrying out the vision and delivering an amazing guest experience at the park level. I'm a let's rip the Band-Aid off kind of guy and talk about what's going on. As I had mentioned, the impact on Urban Air from COVID is real. We were impacted like every other business on the planet. However, I think we weathered the storm a lot better than many in our industry and many in franchising. We've had zero permanent closures as a result of COVID, although our industry, location-based industry, has had over 250 closures in the space. Right now, as we said today, 90% of our parks are open and operating, and they are able to operate at a break even and even generate a profit. In the last 21 days here, as we sit, what is today, the 18th, 19th? 21st, I'm way off. The 21st, we've seen a tremendous increase in revenue across the country. Average unit volumes are up, party bookings are up, memberships are up. So we see a bright future ahead. As I had mentioned, our system-wide revenue in 2020 was 70% of what it was in 2019. So we weathered the storm pretty well. We as a franchisor, we're in a great position from a liquidity perspective. We didn't take on additional debt or equity during the crisis, although we did invest over $11 million back into the system during COVID in marketing, rebranding systems, a captive insurance company to benefit our franchisees. One of the biggest silver linings coming out of COVID for me is that our team really buckled down and created new labor models and implemented a new labor system that's been able to cut system-wide labor by over 40% while still maintaining a net promoter score over 50. That's huge. Our franchisees are more profitable now while still delivering a great experience, and that's going to carry through after COVID. Some of the other things that we heard our guests tell us was touchless technology when it comes to ordering, placing orders for tickets, food and beverage, merchandise, as well as capacity management. So all of those things have been implemented and will carry us through out of COVID, and we'll maintain those technologies in space. We believe in the business. We're here to stay. We're in this for the long term. And as a result, we felt it was important that our franchisees reopened with the marketing dollars that they needed to create additional brand awareness. When many of our competitors didn't have the money to market or were too scared to market, we actually loaned our franchisees the money they needed to market the business for the first 8 weeks after reopening. And it's had a tremendous impact on our business. And then finally, as a pivot in this industry, we launched an after-school program where that beautiful bus you see there on the screen is going around town from elementary school and intermediate school and picking up our guests after school each day, bringing them back to the park where they're a part of a licensed after-school program where we feed them a snack, they do their homework, they complete curriculum, a STEM curriculum, and then their parents pick them up at 6:30 after work. So that's been a program, a pivot that made us an essential business. It's been a pivot that allows us to optimize typically an underutilized day part in the business, and we're really, really excited about it. All of this was accomplished because of the amazing team we have at Urban Air. I get off the elevator on our 5th floor every day and pinch myself that I get to come to work with these talented people. My job is people, capital, and vision. And I believe that we've built the best team in entertainment, franchising, hospitality, and food and beverage. And they've come from many great brands that you're all familiar with. This team has been able to position us in the space where we are experiential. We are a diversified offering where it is complex enough to create barriers to entry. The moat around our castle is wide. However, it is simple enough for the guests to understand. They pay at the gate. They play as long as they want. They can access our attractions as much as they want. So the affordability is there, the repeatability is there, and it positions us nicely with other great brands in the experiential or theme park space. We've really distanced ourselves when you look at the marketplace from a unit count and an attraction innovation perspective. We're up and to the right. And again, it comes down to the fact that when a guest goes into our facility, there is so much they can do. And because there is so much they can do, many times they won't do it all in their entire length of stay, or they'll have a different experience this time than they did last time. And when you look at that mix, it really gives us the repeatability. Guests come back over and over and over again because they're not doing the same thing like jumping on a trampoline for 3.5 hours. They're getting a different physical and mental experience as they move around the facility. And so our competitive advantage is that repeatability. But what is also important is that you wouldn't have that repeatability if it wasn't affordable. And you wouldn't have the repeatability and the affordability if you didn't put Urban Air locations in a place that made it accessible to the guest. And finally, the scale. Our scale provides us economies of scale in buying and manufacturing and supply chain that allows us to deliver this experience over and over and over again to the guest in an affordable way. Part of the secret sauce, though, is our innovation. We believe in reinvesting back in the business to either source the best attractions from around the world or invent them. and patent them. And this has been a huge testament to our success. We don't stop. Some things we test don't work, some things we test and are super successful when we roll them out, but we believe that within the four walls of our business, our job is to provide the best physical experiential experience for the guest. And to do that, it's going to be innovation. It's going to take innovation. We've got to keep the guest safe, keep the guest happy, and make money. And we do that by offering them a diversified experience that they can afford close to home. Josh, I'm going to hand it over to you. I think we're going to talk about the investment a little bit.
Absolutely.
Awesome. Thank you for your time, everybody.
Well, good afternoon, everyone. I'm Josh Wall, and I have the pleasure of serving as our Chief Franchise Officer for Urban Air Adventure Parks. Part of what I think is so key when we're talking about who is this investment a good fit for, more and more we're seeing multi-unit franchisees come in and want to invest in an urban air. And on this screen are a few reasons why. You're leveraging your investment in multiple ways. So there are multiple businesses under one roof. So first of all, we talk about our event business, birthday parties and corporate special events. So the next time you're thinking about having a team building activity that might be socially distanced, and when you're missing your team, and a good thing to do is get them together and come into an urban air, and we'll walk you through our team building ropes course events, or having a child's birthday party within our four walls. Next, we have our walk-in ticket business. So this is a large percentage of our overall revenue and our four-wall EBITDA within the units. More and more, our guests, they want to get out. They've been inside. They've been through quarantine. They've not been out. They've been on devices. And as Michael mentioned, this is so important to have an active play concept like Urban Air for kids and how they're socially developing. The third is a fast casual cafe. So this is an opportunity to serve your guests some food and drinks while they're in the park. It increases their length of stay within the park. And we saw a pre-COVID average 3.5 hour stay for our guests. And so while they're there, why we like that length of time is guests get hungry. They want to stay, they want to eat. So a lot of our franchisees, they appreciate the fact that they can also have a fast casual cafe within the adventure park. We launched in 2019 a contractually reoccurring membership program that is category leading. As Michael mentioned earlier, lifetime to date, we've had over 330,000 members that have signed up for a 12-month contract. And as we began just talking about the impact in a post-COVID environment, when our parks reopened and came back online, those that had the membership revenue and had been driving that well, got things like their rent taken care of with their membership deposits on a monthly basis. It's an important part of having a layered investment in your business. And finally, Michael just mentioned one of our last and newest opportunities is the after school program, a great way to use the latency within your four walls and utilize that to improve your investment. A few facts about the system. So we've seen over the last 4 years over a 400% growth in our multi-unit program. Each franchise group we have owns an average of about 1.5 units. Our largest franchisee owns 9 units. And 12/31 of 2020, we had 36% of our franchisees were multi-unit franchisees and growing. Why is that important? And certainly appreciate the 2 previous brands that were on our program today, highly respected brands. We at Urban Air, though, we absolutely believe in the idea of building strong leadership teams, strong management teams, and relying on the process to deliver an amazing guest service experience. So our business is not an owner and an operator business. This is an owner and investor business that does not require you to necessarily live in the market you're serving. And so most of our franchisees have the plans to grow into a multi-unit park portfolio. And of late, of the signings that we had in 2020 and even the Discovery Day we're hosting today, we're hosting candidates from other franchise brands that are looking to diversify their investment and get into a point where they can leverage their time and their dollars a little bit more efficiently. Within Urban Air, we see a headroom of over 400 units left to be developed within the States before we really get going into the international markets. We've had two different GIS companies conduct independent studies that have both returned this number to us. So what does that say? That says there is plenty of opportunity left to grow and develop our brand. And so as we're talking about potential opportunity for you today, one of our first aspects that we would do in our process, our discovery process and getting to know you, is identify markets that you have interest in against our already pre-rated tiered opportunities. So we're going to look, and we've self-identified these 400 plus opportunities around the country. And now it's a matter of seeing what's the best fit for you, your current business, and how you might be scaling and growing it, and how that lines up with how Urban Air wants to develop moving forward. For our park investment types, we have two offerings for you that you can find in our franchise disclosure document. Number one is our base attraction model. That's what we call, think about it in software versions. It's our 2.0 version park. A few slides ago, Michael showed you how innovation has driven the expansion of our parks. So it's not just getting larger, but it's also getting more complex and more fun for our end user guests. There's two reasons why we do that. Number one, we want to increase our guests' stay time within the park. We want them to have an amazing experience. We want them to stay. We want them to feed themselves, get something to drink, and relate to their friends and their family. But number two, we want to own the marketplace. And we believe that having a complex offering gives a larger moat around it, fends off competitors, gives you a stronger advantage coming into the marketplace and owning it for years to come. The 2.5 version is slightly different. We take our 2.0, our base model, and then we add either a 2-story indoor electric go-kart track or an indoor wind tunnel where you can do skydiving. That has a more efficient square footage offering to it. So if you have a smaller real estate location, that gives you more opportunity to flex that space to a 2.5 park, but also, again, creates that deeper moat, wider moat around your park, helps you defend the investment that you've made in your Urban Air business. So I'm going to turn this back over to Michael here, and we're going to talk just about the bright future that we have at Urban Air.
A little bit of musical chairs. Yeah, as Josh mentioned, I'm bullish on the location-based industry, and I'm even more excited today about Urban Air's role in the community, and the future is extremely bright for us. The location-based industry is set up to benefit from massive pent-up demand, and what the data is telling us is that companies like Urban Air, who have implemented touchless transactions, remote food and beverage, and capacity management, are going to be able to capitalize on the massive pent-up demand. The other thing is that there's an urgency to re-socialize out there, and companies like Urban Air, who can't be bought on Amazon, can't be replicated at home through a VR headset, are going to capitalize on this urgency to re-socialize. And then finally, what I love about our consumer is the millennial consumer that we serve. Mom is our customer, kid is our user. A 14 and under kid makes up over 77% of the tickets sold. The millennial parent they're coming out faster than other generations. And that same parent, both pre-COVID and post-COVID, is much more likely to want to spend their hard-earned dollars on an experience over things. And they're extremely concerned about obesity as well as their child's development. And what I love about Urban Air is we are play with a purpose. When the child is on that wall, sure, they're having an amazing time. But what we're able to talk to mom about is how that kid is building courage, about how that kid is building strength. And all throughout the facility, there are so many underlying purposeful reasons why mom wants to bring their kids to urban air that we are setting up for a very, very bright future. And we'll take any questions. Awesome, let me grab them here. Should I scroll all the way up? Oh, here we go. Let's see. How's the commercial real estate market? Oh, that's a fast signs. Let's see. Oh, here we go, got it. What did you do to implement contactless payments at the franchisee locations? So the strategy was to turn every guest's phone into their own register. So now guests in advance can purchase tickets for urban air from home. They can purchase them in our parking lot. They can purchase them in our lobby. We've taken advantage of QR code technology that I'm sure everyone on this call is very familiar with. And so the QR code opens up our e-commerce site. That e-commerce site allows them to buy tickets, food and beverage, and merchandise right there, and even later on in their visit. So let's say they bought their tickets online in advance, but now they're in the store and they're hungry. They can actually bring back up our e-commerce site, purchase a chicken sandwich, some wings, a drink on their phone. It sends it to the cafe. They'll now know when it's ready. They can go pick it up at the cafe. So our consumer has loved it, and that's something that's here to stay, because not only has it decreased hardware needs inside the park, but it has also increased our throughput in our ability to service the guests. So the guests are loving that. Let's see. Maybe I missed a bit of local ownership versus out of town ownership, or what? Own the building or lease the building. Got it. Yeah, I would say 90-something% of our facilities are leased. If you want to invest in the real estate and have kind of a dual investment where you have an operating LLC leasing a space from a real estate LLC, we have had that happen. There's obviously an opportunity cost associated with going ground up if you're having to wait to build. But if you'd like to acquire, we can help you do that, although the majority of our franchisees lease. Messaging marketing during the reopening process, how do you help franchisees navigate this? So the messaging around COVID was very, very important, and we led in that with franchisees. And so the first thing that we did was we surveyed our guests when about 30 days prior to reopening, we surveyed our guests, and over 3 million guests told us what they wanted to see in order for them to come back when we reopened. And they wanted to see that we were taking temperatures of both our staff and the guests. They wanted touchless interactions. They wanted increased frequency in cleaning. And so we implemented all of those things. And then what we did was we said to the guests, hey, we have implemented those things. We created a page, come see us. We also understood that we have a formula here at Urban Air that hours of operations times the price point times how scared consumers are equals what our volume is going to be. And we can only control 2 of those 3 variables, hours of operation and price. So we wanted to make sure that we were even more affordable than before through some promotions, that we offered our guests and let them know that we would be bringing to market the things that they wanted to come back. And then we did, and we told them about it. And then when they came in, after they came in, we surveyed them. We have an NPS score over 50 coming out of COVID. And then we asked them to, free of charge, give us a selfie video of them wherever they were after they left the park and tell us about their experience. And then we posted hundreds of those videos on YouTube. We emailed those out to the guests so that moms could hear from moms just like them. Because we knew that the early adopters coming out of COVID were going to come first, and we needed to use their voices and their opinions to bring in people behind them. And we know right now in COVID that every guest that walks in, it's their first impression again of the new world and the new urban air coming out of COVID. So it's extremely important. How's the park used during the day? I know you mentioned after school program, anything else? We do have other programs, some mom and me programs. We're expanding in that area. We're actually looking at some opportunities to acquire some other brands that we could plug in during the day. So there's some opportunity to improve on the daytime business, but during the day, if we don't have a program being run, we're not open. And so we're not burning operating expenses while the kids are in school if we don't have a program, say, for preschool running. Great question. Is there a recurring membership program in place throughout the system, or what's been the adoption rate of this by franchisees? Great question, Rachel. The membership program is a national program. Every Urban Air that opens with it. We start pre-selling founder memberships before the facility opens, I think about 60 days before it opens. So every facility has adopted it. It is a fundamental program that increases both cash flow to the franchisee and long-term total enterprise value. At Urban Air, those are our two main goals: increasing cash flow from your operations day to day, but also increasing the total enterprise value when you want to exit. And so a recurring revenue stream is going to be valued more highly than a walk-in revenue stream. And so it's something that we rolled out nationwide. Everyone is a part of it. We say that franchisees magically get deposits every Wednesday from their membership revenue because we handle all of the customer service, all of the billing. We handle everything for franchisees here at the home office, so that they don't have to worry about chasing credit cards or customer service issues. We make it very, very simple so they can focus on delivering the end user experience in an amazing way. Is there any limit, hard or soft, on the number of Urban Air locations a franchisee can run? That's a great question. I think the overall answer would be no, so long as the franchisee can demonstrate they know how to build the infrastructure, both teams, systems, processes, and procedures to make sure that their portfolio, both large or small, meets the brand standards and delivers the customer service experience that the Urban Air brand requires and deserves in the marketplace. So although our largest franchisee is 9 units, if we would allow them to scale to the size, any size really. And I think there's a great opportunity to capitalize on real estate right now. There's great opportunities in the market for multi-unit franchisees to come in and build a great portfolio. Between local owners versus out-of-town owners, do you have any data on profitability for locations with 49% are not local to their location? It's really not about whether they're local or not local. What it is, you can have a local owner who does not ever stop by the park, did not hire a great GM, and they will not be successful just as someone who's out of town. So it's about their involvement, or if they're not involved, it's about the general manager. It's about setting KPIs and holding them accountable. It's about looking at your data and being engaged. So I don't really see correlation between out of town versus in-town owners. I would say there's correlation between engagement, following process and procedure, regardless of where you're located to do it. This brand sets up very nicely for people who like to run a large system, like to run processes and procedures. You're not buying a job when you come to Urban Air, you're buying an enterprise. You're running an enterprise, and I think that's a very important distinction. Great question. That was the last question too. Thank you guys so much for your time. Again, Mary Jo, Franchise Times, we appreciate you guys having us on. And hopefully we'll get an opportunity to meet many of you in person at maybe one of our Discovery Days or around the country. But thank you again for your time.
Great. Thank you, Michael. And Josh, thank you as well for being with us and for being here. In fact, I want to thank all of our company executives today, from the Halal Guys, Fast Signs, and Urban Air Adventure Parks. Also, a big thank you again to our Franchise Times primetime sponsor, Guidant Financial. So please join us again for the next episode of Prime Time on February 18th. Registration will open for that next week. And if you are a brand that wants to be part of a future episode of Prime Time, please contact Kevin Peach here at Franchise Times at 612-767-3206 or at kpeach@franchisetimes.com. Thank you again for joining us, and have a great rest of the day.